Girl. And stop calling me sis. I am a man, not a sis, and not your dong on woman. Stop calling me first lady. Y'all so crazy. Stop it. Stop calling me sis. Stop calling me sis. I am a man. Stop calling me sis. Y'all so crazy. Stop calling me sis. I am a man, not a sis. Stop it. Y'all so crazy. I am a man. Stop calling me sis. Stop calling me sis. Stop calling me sis.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gayside Stories, where the gay shit goes. I am your host, Trillificent, and this week I am joined by one of my podcast peers. So I'm going to actually let him introduce himself.
I am the one and only Alowishus. 0207 is what I go by on all social media platforms. And yes, I am a podcaster myself.
So tell everybody a little bit about your podcast.
My podcast is called Shhh Sherlock. That's the original name. But we had to change the shit to Shhh because Apple and Facebook they felt some type of way about that. I don't know why. So every time we would try to promote our stuff, it kept getting blocked. So we had to change the curse word, and we actually used the poop emoji. So it's me and my three other best guy friends, and we sit around and we talk about everything from relationships to pop culture, social media, anything in between. And our motto is, it doesn't take a clue to know what you're talking about. You don't have to be a genius. Just know what you're saying.
Know something. You ain't got to know everything, but you got to know something. Okay.
Something.
And you also have another venture I saw on your Twitter page.
Oh, yes. I am also the owner of My Cousin's Kitchen, where I do a little catering, pop-up tents. I pretty much can cook. I call myself the ghetto chef. I didn't go to culinary school. I can cook because I watched my mom and my grandma. So I can pretty much cook anything. It's just, are you willing to pay for it? Because I don't work for free. And if I'm going to like it myself.
True. I like the name, My Cousin's Kitchen. It's catchy.
Yeah. I got it from my cousin. Literally, I did. He was selling dinners one year because he can cook as well. And he was just so when he was well, tell your coworkers I'm cooking dinners this weekend. So I printed up a paper and I called it My Cousin's Kitchen because literally it was from my cousin's kitchen. And everybody thought that was the name of his company. And so since he didn't want to do catering anymore, so I took the name.
Oh, well, look at that. Lined right on up, didn't it? Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining me and showing interest in being on the show.
Anytime.
So, you guys, I finally came out with a hashtag for the show. Granted, I was supposed to do this months ago. I want to say probably about 4 months ago, and I couldn't come up with the hashtag. And then I forgot because it's me. But the official hashtag of the show going forward is going to be Gayside Pod. So if you are listening and you want to tweet along, or you on Facebook or on Instagram, because you can follow hashtags on Instagram now, use that hashtag Gayside Pod. So let's move on into the Come Quick segment.
I'm gonna come, sir.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So first up, more about this show, because you're listening to this show, and I'm going to talk about this show while you're listening to this show. Inception. So this is episode 51, you guys, which means next week is going to be the 52nd episode of this show. The 1-year anniversary of Gayside Stories is January 31st. So I have something lined up for that. I think it's going to be a fun show. Right now, I think I'm going to resurrect something that I did when I used to have a co-host. So it's many episodes ago. But in the meantime, you guys can post on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram your favorite moments or episodes, phrases, your favorite guests, anything that you loved about the show in the past year. Go ahead and put that stuff out there and use the hashtag Gayside 1 year. And that's the number 1, Gayside 1 year. If you want to leave a message for me on the show, about the show for the 1 year anniversary, you can leave that message at 832-821-8279. And that's it about that. Like I said, I struggle with, I don't know, what's the word, humility. It's like, I know that this is a big accomplishment. This is one of the very rare things that I've stuck with for an amountable amount of time. What am I saying? One of the very rare things that I've stuck with for a good amount of time. And it's like, I want to pat myself on the back, but at the same time, it's like,
I think you should.
But
it's really, really good.
Trying to let myself breathe and be proud of myself. I think that's something that I struggle with sometimes. Is I have these goals and I have things that I want to do and I have things that I accomplish, but I don't really allow myself to celebrate them properly. So I really want to try to break out of that and do that for this. But anyway, we're going to move on. So let's talk about the gay agenda.
Oh, Lord.
The gay agenda. The agenda.
Okay, so that's really my question. What is the agenda? Like, is it like a to-do list? Is it an outline? Is it like, by this age, you're supposed to do this and do this and do this? Or if you're in these experiences, you're supposed to do this and this and this. And if somebody doesn't like this, you respond like this. Like, I didn't get that from any old head. So somebody please, anybody listening, what is the gay agenda? Like, why does it exist? And am I missing something?
I, too, would like to know what the gay agenda is. Okay, all jokes aside, we've seen the gay agenda be spoken about on instant media. What am I saying? On social media and in various conversations. And it's usually by a hotep/homophobic person. And they use it as a smokescreen for their homophobic rhetoric. And it's, y'all are tearing down this, y'all are tearing down that, y'all making the black man look bad. We know what people are saying, the connotation that usually goes with the phrase, the gay agenda. It would be nice if it was something that was handed down from the dick-sucking elders. Was like, this is how you get your shit together, girls. Because that would be great. That's an agenda I would buy. From Paris is burning. Absolutely. If they was like, now these are the struggles I went through, bitch, so you ain't got to go through them. That's an agenda that I would spend coins on. But that's not what we're talking about. So we know that it's usually followed by or in company of something hateful. Like, they call it the gay agenda. And for whatever reason, these hateful people feel like we, in all of our fabulousness, are actively trying to bring down the black family or just black men in general or whatever they say. So on Twitter, someone, the @ name was Nas Mirage, which, sure. Anyway, this person had a very good tweet. So I quote, "The real gay agenda is not some evil attempt to emasculate men. It's to try to further the acceptance of gay people so that they are not constantly bullied, joked about, kicked out of homes, disowned by their own families, pushed into depression and suicide, and murdered." So I saw that tweet and I thought to myself, if we were going to adopt something called the gay agenda, that would definitely be it. Because our agenda is honestly survival. Like, we just want to survive and we just want to live freely. We want to live freely like everyone else without someone getting upset, trying to fight us, trying to kill us, trying to out us.
And I tell people all the time, especially heterosexuals, that nothing about us and y'all, nothing is different other than what we're attracted to and who we sleep with. The rest of our life and our world revolves and operates the exact same. Nothing changes other than what we like to sleep with.
That's it. But for whatever reason, they can't understand that. And then I saw a tweet. I don't want to say that it was either today or yesterday. it was, I guess, Religious Freedom Day. And
Oh, Lord.
someone tweeted, and I decided not to put his ad name because I didn't want to give him that shine. But he said, stand up against the LGBT Mafia and their wicked and fascist tactics before they completely destroy society. Hashtag Religious Freedom Day.
So we got an agenda. Now we got a mafia.
We have the agenda is the executive branch, I guess, and the mafia is the agenda is the legislative branch, and the mafia is the executive branch.
They're the Sopranos, the people that put you in the trash bag.
Right. So I'm like, so how do you sign up to be a part of the LGBT Mafia? Like, where is it? Where's the headquarters? Do they have like mugs and shirts and stuff?
You know, I can't take that from them because they look at Kim Burrell as their leader, and she wants us to be very encouraged. So maybe we are. She wasn't encouraged when she felt her ass in them $1,800 boots.
Right on them knees. I know them knees was hurt and ting.
Just too old for that shit.
Oh God. Anyway, so you guys, let us know what do you think the gay agenda is? What do you think people mean when they say that? Because it's never a gay person or a person of the LGBT community that uses that phrase. So I'm very curious about people in the community. What do you think, or what is usually attached to that phrase when you hear it or when you read it? And for people outside of it, if you believe in it, let us know so that we can tell you where the fuck you got us fucked the hell up. And we'll go on from there.
And tell us what it is, please.
I mean, tell us what it is so that we can tell you where you're wrong.
Because we already know you're wrong.
Because we already know you're wrong. Because if it's anything like that, we trying to destroy. We live in society, sis. We're not trying to destroy it. We want to live too. What are you saying? What are you talking about? Anyway, that's all nice and good. Wrap that up with a nice bow. So let's move on to the main topic. We are going to be discussing friends and relationships. Hence why I named the episode Lovers and Friends.
Oh my.
So we're just going to go through a couple of questions so that we can get a feel for this topic. I want to see where your head is.
Which one?
Girl.
I mean, they both operate.
It's not that kind of show, okay?
Oh, okay.
At least not this episode.
Okay.
Not this episode. Coming up soon, though. We're going to have the Nasty Part 2 episode. So let's get into it, because let's pull you out of the gutter.
Come on, Ciroc, I promise you.
So first up, when do you tell your friends about the person that you're dating? What's your opinion?
Well, if I'm actually dating them, maybe after I get to that point where I get the butterflies in my stomach, I'm actually excited about seeing and talking to this person. I think at that point, that's when I tell a friend or two.
Okay.
But it definitely has to be dating, nothing else.
So, just for the sake of clarity, what's your definition of dating?
Dating is someone that you meet either online, in person, through a friend. You guys hang out occasionally. You share similar interests, and you begin to get to know each other to see if you're going to build towards a relationship.
Okay.
But you can do this with multiple people. You don't only have to date one person. That's my outlook. Okay.
So for me, I say it depends on the friends and the nature of the dating situation. Something similar to what you just described as far as the dating situation. Personally, I would say that you tell close friends early so that they're aware of changes and additions to your life. I've gotten to this point, and I don't know if it's just in my old age or if it's just because I watch too much Investigation Discovery. But I've noticed that a lot of people keep a lot of things bottled up, and then when shit happens, nobody knows anything. So there's no point of reference to say, yeah, they started dating this person at this time, or you know, your mood went down suddenly and we don't understand why, like what's going on with you. And then come to find out, oh, I started dating somebody and, you know, they changed my life for the worse. So I really feel like you should let your closer friends know when you bring people into your life, just so that somebody's aware of what's going on in your life. I know
At least one.
At least one. I'm not saying,
because
that's
if
why I said
something
close
goes down,
friends.
somebody, like you said, somebody has to know. Okay, who was they last with? What were they doing? How is this person affecting their lifestyle at this moment that it's changing?
Exactly. And I have additional reasons, but we'll get into those later.
Okay.
For other people, I'd say play it by ear. Personally, I'll probably wait a couple of months if we're dating beyond the, when you get to the point where it's past getting to know, like the heavy aspect of getting to know a person, where you're asking each other 20 questions every time you see or talk to each other. And it's more, you're comfortable, you're still getting to know each other, but you're comfortable. You like what things are going. You like what life is showing you or what the person is showing you, you know. You like the way they eat your butt or whatever the case may be. And you feel like, okay, this person may not be going anywhere.
We only dating and you eat my butt.
I said it depends on the dating situation. So
oh, okay.
You could be in a situation where there's no eating of the butt, and you could be in a situation where it's a buffet. I mean,
I just know where you stand if we decide to start dating.
It's whatever floats your boat and it's whatever works for you and that individual. All right. So how do you determine what you tell your friends about your boo or whatever you want to call them?
My personal opinion on that is you know your friends. Whether you tell 2 or 3 or 1, you know that individual and you know what to say because you already know how they're gonna respond. Some friends you just don't even need to tell them nothing because of their response. Not saying they're gonna put you down, but you know, especially the girls, they'll read a nigga down. Oh, and don't care if you like them, love them, head over heels for them. They'll read him down until the hangnail he got from work earlier that day.
Listen, they'll have you wondering why this nigga's even breathing. Oh yes.
But you have to know your friends. You have to, and that's the best way I can tell you to go about it. Because that's how I do. I don't tell all my friends the same thing all the time. It's like, okay, I'm gonna pick you for this reason and you for that reason.
I choose you. I agree. I would say, and this goes back to what I was saying about telling close friend or friends early, so that they know what's going on, because you need people to vent to. And that does not mean it has to be every one of your friends. Everybody doesn't need to know everything. And I think that's a problem that a lot of people have, is they don't have that ability to know which friends I should tell things to and which ones I shouldn't. And so then it becomes a black and white thing. Like, I'm either going to tell everybody everything or I'm not going to tell anybody anything. But if you do that work and you know which friends you can tell what to, which ones you can depend on, which ones are going to give you the level of support that you need, then you don't run into that problem. And I would say tell your friends little things here and there, but they don't need a play-by-play of your entire relationship. Like, ever. Nobody needs that. All right?
Even if y'all dating for 20 plus years, nobody needs to know the itinerary.
No, we don't need to know this is not Dear Diary. This is not Hey Margaret by Judy Blume. We don't need all of that. We don't need it.
Judy.
But I would say tell your best friends, quote unquote, everything. Yeah. Because these are the people that should be, if you have cultivated your friendship pool positively, these would be people that you can always go to, that won't judge. They will have your best interest at heart, and they'll take action if things go sideways. And I'm not saying in a bad way, like if you come across somebody that's whooping up on you, although I would hope that your friends will intervene if that happens. And another reason I say that is because you need to have people that you are close enough to, that if you get into a situation like that, or something similar, or something bad, or it's just not working out, you feel comfortable telling them, and you don't feel stuck in that relationship or obligated to that person, that man, that woman, whatever, to the point where you feel like you can't tell your friends that stuff, so that you don't have that support. Because it could be you had it all along, but you never tapped into it because you didn't feel secure in that friendship.
I just have a part B to that. And also, if you are that friend where, because we always gonna, I'm speaking from a friend's perspective now, like, I'm always gonna be your friend, I'm always gonna support you, but I can't continue to support you if you still gonna keep going back to the nigga beating your ass. So remember, I was there for you, and I subjected to you the first time, but if you keep coming to me with the same black eye, I'm only gonna say so much. So don't expect me to keep going up for you and trying to uplift you if you keep getting your ass whooped. Like, I can't, I'm not going, I mean, I can suggest you leave your man, but if you want to keep getting your ass beat because you think the dick of the booty that good, but hey, I can't stop you.
I think we can wrap that up nicely by saying, as your friend, I can't want better for you than you want for yourself.
Right.
So if you're in that situation that you just described, or in a different situation, you could be in a situation where somebody's taking advantage of you financially, or you're just not happy, or they cheating on you, whatever the situation is, if you don't want better for yourself and get out of that and do better, I can't want better for you. So at some point, maybe the friendship doesn't end or stall, but what I can provide on that situation will definitely stall, because I can only say so much, I can only do so much.
Right.
So how do you determine what you tell your boo about your friends? So we talked about what you tell your friends about them, but what do you tell your significant other about your friends?
I think it goes the same way. Just like I said, you only tell your friends certain things. I'm only going to tell my boo certain things, because I don't need you trying to see my friends in that light that I know them in. Now, if they ever decide to show you that, then that's fine. But because, I mean, we all, if we've been in relationships before, you just don't do certain things around your boo that you're going to do in front of your friends. And I don't want seeing my friends like that, because then you're going to be like, well, damn, what you do when I'm not around? I don't need you having that. I don't need you having that thought process. So I'm going to paint the most beautiful picture that I can give you about my friends.
Okay. I would say keep things general, especially if your significant other is not going to be around your friends too much.
Right.
Like, you don't need to pull out a full dossier like Olivia Pope about all your friends and show it to your bae, boo, dick dealer, whatever you want to call them. You don't need to do all that. Like, they don't need to be running background checks and all that kind of shit. But you do want to tell them, okay, this is my friend, whatever. You know, this is how I met them, and these are the kind of things we like to do together. It doesn't need to be
right.
You know, his mama live on Crenshaw and she be selling fish plates every Sunday, and his granny broke her hip, but she don't want to listen to nobody. You don't need to tell all of your friends' business to your significant other, just like you don't need to tell your significant other's business to your friends.
Right.
Like, it's a fine line of if they are interested in getting to know each other, then that will happen naturally. But you don't need to be the penny of the situation, giving it the good old Inspector Gadget and just telling all the business. You don't need to do that. They should at least know who your friends are. Like I said, in some distinguishing details, so that they know who you talk to and who
Most
you spend
definitely.
your time with. But they don't need a full workup.
And this is a side note, not to jump off, but all gay men don't fuck their friends. Like, that's not, all gay men friends aren't their previous fuck buddies or exes. I just heard that in the space this last weekend, and they was just like, well, most gay men have friends because there was a guy that they used to fuck with, or they used to in their relationship with, and now they friends. No, I can say that my whole circle of friends, I have never slept with them. I've never wanted them attractively. I just want people to let that go. All gay men friends are not people they used to sleep with.
I mean, it happens, but
it does.
I know plenty of straight people with the same situation. Like,
And point. What a collection plate.
you know, and that's one of those things where sometimes I feel like people, they just don't have that self-awareness. Like, they're so hell-bent on othering us as in the community. But
Come on, othering.
It's just like you said earlier. We do the same shit that y'all do. Y'all fuck y'all's friends. Maybe nobody knows about it because heterosexual people, y'all have issues with jealousy. But we're not gonna act like y'all don't do the same exact shit that we do. Y'all be fucking in the club. Y'all be fucking on the first date. Y'all be fucking in the car. Y'all be fucking y'all's friends. Like, let's not act like we are such deviants from whatever golden path that y'all have deemed everybody needs to walk. Because y'all do the same. Y'all are out. If the golden path is there, bitch, you walking in the mud just like we are. So what are we talking about?
Exactly. And you put up your X2 videos with your caption. Oh, we see them.
We see, like, anyway. So
yes,
keep it cute with the information that you share about your friends with your significant other and vice versa.
Please.
So when do you introduce your friends to the person you're dating?
You kind of got to fill it out. I think once they start, the person that you're dating, once they start, I guess, inquiring about these people and, who you was with today. And, once you start letting them more into your world and they see how much you do hang out with these people, I think then it's time to say, okay, let me introduce y'all so they can put a face to the name and know that it ain't no bad blood or anything like that. We just friends. That's it. But you still got to play it by ear. But I think once they start inquiring more about your friends, I think then it's time to introduce them.
Okay, I can agree with that. And I would add that you both need to be comfortable and secure in your situation before you start trying to meet friends or family or whatever the case may be, being seen on the town. Y'all need to be comfortable and secure. You can't still be, well, we just getting to know each other, but I know he's still fucking that other nigga on Instagram. And I act like it don't bother me, but it really does. Like, you need to be comfortable in your situation before you start bringing somebody around your friends. Because in a perfect world, your friends are permanent fixtures. And you want to be very careful with what you bring into the mix, because that will be an influence. No matter what you think, when somebody gets a new boo, that's a new element to the mix. And if you are insecure in that situation, then that's just going to throw the energy off with the friendship group, because now you're going to be, imagine introducing your significant other to your friends, but your friends know that you're not secure in that situation, in that relationship, or whatever you want to call it. So they look at him up and down from jump, because you've already expressed a bunch of ill shit to them. Where, you done pulled a little mo and you told your friends about his Instagram account that he didn't tell you about. So now you introduce your friends to him and they look at him up and down like, oh, so you an Instagram motherfucker, ain't you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be secure in your situation before you bring your friends into it. And I think that's not just courtesy to your significant other in y'all's relationship, but also to your friends. You don't want to be putting your friends through the ringer with somebody that you're not absolutely sure about. And
now they done meet them, and then they done start sharing experiences and getting to know them, and then y'all break up the next week. And then, oh Lord.
Right. Or like I said, it could just be bad blood, bad energy. Like I said, when you're introducing two ingredients into the pot, like, you need to be ready to cook.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So, if your friends and your significant other don't get along, how do you handle that? Like, are you obligated to take a side? And if you think so, then whose side do you take?
So this is another good, like, parallel situation to the post that goes around on Facebook that says, for the heterosexuals or, the straights, that, if a woman, if her husband and her dad get into an argument and her husband say, let's go, does she leave? Does she stay? So I think this is the same kind of situation. It's just with your friends. I think for me, I'm all about being fair. Because somebody has to be right, somebody has to be wrong, somebody started it, somebody finished it. I'm all about being fair. But I do understand that I'm in you said dating. This is the person that I'm dating, and
I mean, it could be dating, it could be a relationship. Okay. It doesn't have to be necessarily just be dating.
So this is the person that I'm with, and this is the person that I love, and I brought them around y'all. Y'all don't see eye to eye, and I'm not picking sides. I'm being fair, but like this the person that I love. So I mean, I think naturally people side with that person versus their friends, which they should, because your friends were there before the relationship. But it's like when people get in love like that, they don't see wrong. I don't think you have to pick a side. I think you should be fair.
Okay. I would say you're not obligated to take a side per se, but you do have to be very careful not to ostracize either party. I think the best method, depending on what it is, because some situations, good luck. You know what I mean? Like if your significant other meets your friends and shit pop off and your boo put your hands on one of your friends, I mean, or your friend put your hands on you. Some situations that's different, but if it's just kind of like a disagreement of minds, then I would say try to help them figure it out, because this is beneficial to you as well. You never know what you might discover. You never know what everyone might discover about themselves. They may have a disagreement about Beyonce, and then you kind of work your magic and get them to see eye to eye, and you never know. Now you got two new Beyonce stans. Who knows? But
come on now, they know I don't play that shit.
Right, but you can't force the situation. Like you can't force anyone to get along, and you can't let either bash the other incessantly. Like if they are set in their stubbornness of not liking each other, not fucking with each other, then you let that be what it is, but you don't let them continually bash the other, because what that's going to do, when you hang around your friends are constantly bashing your man or your whatever, your woman, whoever you are with. And then when you're with your boo, they constantly bashing your friends. You're the only one hearing that. So guess who's internalizing all of that? You. So now you the one that's down in the dumps because they not getting along, and all they see is I'm right and I don't like them, fuck them. And you are sad because they're not getting along, and you don't know how to mend that bridge, and you don't know, because eventually there's going to be some, what's the word? Eventually someone's going to try to start pulling you to their side. They're going to try to force you to make a decision. Either your friends are going to be like, oh, so you're going to spend all your time with that nigga? You know what I'm saying? They're going to be real Beyonce. I mean, they're going to be real Missy to your Beyonce. All right, then you're going to be standing up on the damn table in Chili's talking about ain't nothing out there for me.
This is where I want to be.
This is where I want to be.
That's what I'm telling you. When your friends get in love like that, it's hard. It's just like because I've been in a situation where I did not like my friend's boyfriend, and I told him, I was just like, I only tolerate him because you in a relationship with him. That is it. When they broke up, I did cartwheels down the street, but it's tough.
And it's one of the, the best you can probably do is just ask everyone, for the sake of you, if they fuck with you the way that they should, because they in your circle, everybody be mature about it. Okay, y'all don't like each other. Okay, fine. It doesn't have to be a love and hip hop production every time we all get together.
Yeah, and leave it at that. Us.
I think it's totally, and I think a lot of people feel like it's not possible, or it's black and white, it's all or nothing, but it's perfectly possible for you to date somebody that your friends don't like, or vice versa. Maybe not ideal, but it's possible.
We don't want to be nobody's kitchen table talk. Oh, shout out to Getting Grown. I did listen to them.
Oh, my sis. Oh, I love them.
They're cool.
Anyway, do you take dating advice from friends that are single? Shake the table.
It depends on what type of single you are. Are you just single and you've never been in a relationship? You never seriously dated anybody? You've never been with anybody? Then it's kind of hard for me to take relationship advice from you. I will, um, if you decide to give it, even if it's unwarranted. I mean, I'll take what you say because sometimes, even though they're single and you're in a relationship, they see things that you don't see. A lot of people get in relationships and they get tunnel vision. They don't see nothing but they don't see nothing but the person that they're in the relationship with. So
Ooh,
it's different. I mean, it's easier for a single person not being in a relationship, seeing things outside of the relationship box to say, hey, well, you might want to think about it like this. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I just want to know what type of single are you? Single with kids, single, just got out of a relationship, single, fucking everybody, you know. But let me know what you see because you out there and I'm in here.
Personally, I would say you can take dating advice from anyone with a demonstrated history of employing common sense, single or otherwise, because it's a lot of people with a whole lot of dating experience that don't know shit, and they will lead you into a ditch, like Caroline.
Come on, Caroline.
And then there's plenty of people that are single that, like you said, can look at the situation and be like, okay, you overreacting, it's not that big of a deal, or I don't know, something in the milk ain't clean, considered exhibits A and B. And whether they're single or not, it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't think a person needs to have a lot of dating advice, a lot of dating experience in order to give advice on a situation, because I can use myself as an example. Like, a lot of my friends, they vent to me about their dating lives, and they all know I have practically no dating experience. I've been single since the Titanic sunk.
Oh, Lord.
But I know how to be objective when you present me with information, and I just use my common sense. Like, it's not well, you my friend, so I'm going to take your side. I'm going to always be on your side, because that can be harmful.
Right.
It's really just employing common sense to a situation, like you said, because a lot of times people get in situations, matters of the heart or the genitals, and they don't know how to be rational. And a lot of times dating advice, I don't think, is anything more than just presenting something in a rational fashion.
I mean, that is definitely a case. Like we say, on my podcast, love versus logic. Yeah, you can be in love, but are you being logical and being smart about what you're trying to do? And I think that's how single people can assist with people being in a relationship, because they ain't in a relationship, so they're not in the love mind frame. They're being logical and like, okay, is this smart?
Exactly. Just like you have friends in relationships that you hope are doing the same thing. And it's not just everything is lovey-dovey. Just let him do whatever he wants. Don't fight with him. Make sure you don't...
trying to make no lemonade album.
Right. Make sure you don't serve his food on no paper plate. That's disrespectful. You don't want those kind of friends giving you advice either. Because
again, be like I'm feeding him, because you ain't feeding him.
You know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I already did this on Twitter.
Come on.
So how do you determine which friend or friends you can lean on for support during your dating situation or your relationship, your marriage, whatever the case may be?
I think it all depends on knowing your friends. You know what friend to call for what situation, because you know what type of advice they're going to give. I have a friend, regardless of the situation, he's always going to be fair. He might be a little petty, but he's going to be very, very fair. Then I have another friend who's a little passive. So it's just like, I don't necessarily want to go to you. And they know not to call me, because I'm the ratchet, ride or die. Okay, we're going to shoot first, ask questions later, busting windows, putting on my Timbs, kicking niggas in the throat. That's me. So call me when you ready for me to, to ride through.
Okay, so
but you gotta...
I know who you are. You're the one driving the minivan through the damn house.
Exactly. That's gonna be me right there. You know, my friends say you fuck with them. I don't come to ask no questions. Let's get down to it. But you gotta know your friends, and you gotta know what you're gonna look for in advice. I mean, you will hope that all your friends are gonna give you real and rational information that can help your relationship. But there are just some friends you was like, okay, I can't tell them that because I already know what they're gonna say.
Yeah, I agree. I say that this takes some evaluation prior to, so that you know who your quote unquote real friends are, and you are making sure that you don't lean on anyone that will judge you or use your venting against you later. They're gonna spread your business, so on and so forth. So I think I've talked about this on the show before, but I've been on a journey. I'm kind of not so much lately, but starting in 2016, I really was on a journey to figure out who's close to me, who needs to be close to me, who needs to be distanced, and who needs not be a part of my life. And you really have to do that inventory on the relationships in your life, and your friends they're not exempt of that. If anything, depending on how you live your life, because if you live your life like me, where my friends are my nucleus because I'm not close to my family, then you have to do that. But you may have to do the same thing with family. I'm not, obviously, I'm not saying cut your mama off and change your number and then be posting on Facebook about it. But you have to be very mindful of the people that you allow close to you. And once you do that, and again, like I said earlier, once you cultivate a positive circle, then you don't really need to worry about, okay, who can I lean on? Who can I tell about? We had this big fight and I don't know what to do. I need some advice. You don't have to worry about that because you've already done the work. You're not just letting somebody that makes you laugh and iMessage and sends you memes and shit on Instagram. That's not somebody you can depend on.
Right. Did they capture your mind? Like,
exactly. Like, and I'm not saying that person can't be important to you, because hey, we all have that person. Shit, you might be that person. You doing a valuable service. You helping people get through work, get through doctor's appointments, whatever the case may be. But that's not always the person that you can rely on when shit gets heavy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you do that work prior to, then you don't really have to worry about who can I lean on for support and who gonna be looking at me sideways like, bitch, what you thought this was. So last question in this topic. Ooh, this is a good one. Are your friends' exes off limits, and are your exes off limits to your friends?
I think yes, both ways.
Agree.
Because if you're an ex, not just a fuck buddy, if somebody used to talk to, no, ex means like we experiences in life together. No, because it'll be just like the soul food situation. You know, Kenny used to be with Terry, and then he ended up getting with Maxine. So it's just like, now somebody I used to be with, my friend in the movie, it was the sister, but now my friend is with them, and now they got this whole, Terry was independent, single, wanted kids, had fucked up relationships. Then her sister got the guy she used to be with, and he got a business, they got kids, they married happily ever after. So it's just like, I can't deal with that. Like, just like the RL and Deborah Cox song say, we can't be friends when I'm still in love with you. Like, I might not still be in love with you, but I can't share this space with you anymore. And especially if you're going to be dating my friend or hooking up with my friend or marrying my friend, how am I supposed to feel? It's like, well, damn, that could have been my life. Was it me?
Right. And I think that would be anybody. I agree. I mean, I feel like there's enough scattered dick and ass out here. It's like 8 billion people on the planet. I don't think you need to complicate things unnecessarily by dating or hooking up with people that your friends have, or vice versa. Depending on the friendship, because I can say now, with most of my friends. I think we have mature enough relationships and are just mature enough people that if one of my friends came and said, hey, I met somebody and I'm head over heels for them, and they tell me who they are and show me a picture, and I'll be like, okay, well, just so you know, back in 2011, you know, we exchanged fuck faces. And they'd be like, oh, okay. And that would be the end of it. Like, it wouldn't be a huge deal. But at the same time, ideally, nah.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I just, nah. It's just no. But this is what I'm saying. Like, if your friends know about the people that you're dealing with in your life, then you shouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I just feel like it's a unnecessarily complicated situation. Like, I know, because I know people gonna be like, well, sometimes you can't help who you fall in love with, and I would challenge that by saying a lot of times y'all just falling in lust.
Yes.
and
they
I'm gonna be
they
honest.
whisper them sweet nothings, and you just fell for it. Like, you can't help who you fall in love with, but you can help who you entertain before you get to the step of falling in love.
Right. I'm gonna be honest. If I'm dating somebody and things don't work out, or I'm in a relationship for however long and things don't work out, and then next thing I know, I turn around and you like, ooh, so what had happened was, I'm gonna be looking at you funny as hell, because I'm gonna be like, so this whole time you was wanting to fuck my man.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? It's not gonna be those, oh, well, I just happened to see him at the Kroger and I was helping him pick out bok choy. And then next thing you know, he was
like
bocking my choy. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Things like that make me question. It's just like, well, damn, was y'all so chummy after we got together? Were you fucking them while I was with them?
I don't know if I would take it that far, but
I think it would depend on how soon they got together after we broke up, maybe.
It would just be weird. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into this, but I would say ideally, no. I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to date or hook up with anybody that my friends have, and I don't want my friends doing the same, because
nope.
We just don't need to cross those paths.
I just would, every time I would see them, I just would envision my friend there or being around. It just would be weird for me. I wouldn't even be able to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It would be weird. It would be weird. I think that's one of those unwritten, like, they should be off limits.
That should be a part of the gay agenda.
Hello. Write that down. So that is going to wrap up the main topic for this episode. So you guys know, whenever I have a guest, I love to do the queer query so that you guys can get just a little bit of a different side of the guest and see how they think and how they function. So let's get into that.
Question.
Oh my.
So first question. If you had the power to bring a queer show back, such as, Queer as Folk, for a new season, what would it be and what changes would you make?
Oh my God. So I really toyed with this question, and my friends talk about me all the time, but I'm not really that gay. I have not seen any gay show. And I just watched Paris is Burning last week, because my friends say I keep using the gifts and I have no idea what the movie is about. And so I watched it. I have watched 2 episodes of Noah's Ark. Mm-hmm. So I can't say that much. I would like to modernize it, though. Like, there's no gay average lifestyle show on TV that shows a little positivity. Everything is the token gay guy on Love and Hip Hop that's loud and ratchet and wear weave and nails and all that. But I would prefer if they could modernize a show like that shows friends, that have real relationships, that go through things, and they're not just so gay according to the rest of the world.
Yeah. Ideally, I would love to see like a gay version, or not even a gay, an LGBT version of Living Single. But that's not the question. So I would bring back Noah's Ark. Mm-hmm. I would, picking up on what they did, I would focus less on Noah and Wade. I don't think that relationship is as groundbreaking as they tried to
Yeah.
present it.
I
I
like the big light skinned dude and the other guy.
Yeah, Alex and
Yeah, I ain't no names. I just know he was fine as
I
fuck.
forget his
But
name. But yeah, I would keep Brandon from the movie and kind of let him share the role of Noah in the friendship dynamic because in
mhm.
my mind, now that Noah and Wade are married, Noah is going to factor into the friendship group a little differently and maybe even
Yeah,
a little less, especially with them being newlyweds. I would focus more on Ricky and his journey with processing his feelings for Noah and
hmm
using his promiscuity as a balm. Because I honestly feel like that is more common than a lot of
yeah.
us realize. So I think it would be very interesting to expand upon that more, see how he's doing, how he's dealing with it. Maybe have him, no, definitely have him in therapy, trying to figure things out. I would focus more on Chance and Eddie and home life because that's something that we have started to see more in mainstream, but not from a person of color side. Because
Yeah,
immediately
not definitely not black.
I can think of okay, well we have the gays on Modern Family, which is only one example that I can think of off the top of my head, but they're white. Like where are the people of color? So I would love to
Right.
see. That's a perfect opportunity to show a black couple home life. We got to see it a little bit on the show, but we can expand it more into some different things, and it's not always drama because
Right.
everything that they presented was drama. The little girl acting out and throwing shoes and shit.
Oh Lord.
Eddie done lost his goddamn job, and it was just always a whole bunch of shit going on. Like I would love to just see some regular old. We have a meatloaf. Tell me about your day, and tie that in some way to a nice family moment
I
amongst
think
whatever else is going on.
I think the only other one was, I will say, Milan and Miles on Love and Hip Hop, because they wasn't doing all that fighting. They didn't wear weaves and all that. Like they wasn't trying to be the stereotypical gay that heterosexuals think that gays are. But it was just the fact that it was on Love and Hip Hop, so that already
Yeah,
has a
because
negative connotation to it. So it's
well,
like you're already turned off on that.
and for me, it wasn't that. It was I felt like they tried a little too hard to show that they were not the stereotypical. It was like,
That's
look at
true.
us, we in love, and I wear my hat to the back, and it's just like, okay, TLC, like we don't calm down a
They
little
had a nice
bit.
sex tape though.
Well, yeah, but and then it was still drama. I don't know. I just feel like with Noah's Ark, there's a lot of opportunity to show the different facets of life as it
hmm
relates to gays and the LGBT community outside of focusing solely on sex, the
Right.
club, fashion, especially like if you brought it back now, they're older, they're more mature. We can see
Exactly.
them further along in their careers. Like we want to see them going to work, a la Insecure.
Exactly. That's why I said modernize it. Like bring it up to the 2018.
Exactly, exactly. And let me preface everything by saying this: they need to keep the same acting energy as the movie, or they can just get a new cast. And that's no shade. It is what it is. Y'all
But
have
do you think it would really work? I just feel like certain shows have staple members, and it's just like hard if you recast the show like that. I feel like a living single or something. Like I don't want to see no other people other than Queen Latifah, you know Maxine and all them. Like those are the people that do you think Noah's Ark would really do good if they actually recast it using the same like characters?
no. It wouldn't be the same characters. It would be the same premise, but they would have to make some changes, switch up the personalities and things like that. I'm just saying that, like, if they couldn't get the originals, or if they tried it and it was boo boo, then okay, let's scrap this, start from scratch, and take some of the elements, and then do a new cast and a new show.
Gotcha.
You know, main focus of it is not so definitely not Love and Hip Hop. Although I guess you can make the argument for Love and Hip Hop because that is scripted. I don't care what they say. Um, definitely, not go too much down the web series route, because there's a lot. Again, no shade. There's a lot of good like LGBT web series out there, but then there's also a shitload of them that focus on the cliche stuff. That focus a bit too much on sex.
About him.
About him focused on sex a lot, but the way that they did it was smart.
Yeah, because about the boy who he didn't really know himself. He was trying to figure it out, and he did go through the things that we went through as young guys,
exactly. Because
it wasn't lines, meeting people, so
it wasn't raunchy. Like the sex happened, but it wasn't sex just for the sake of sex. It was okay. This is obviously he's at that point where he's experimenting, and it really doesn't matter what age. Like once you have latched onto the idea of okay, I'm into dudes, and I have a dude that I can do some things with. Like we all go through that, but the younger that you are, a lot of us could relate to that. Yeah, there was a lot of sex, and they were skinny, but they were nice bodies or whatever. But
we know your type.
Oh no, I think I misrepresented myself just now. Because I was like, you know what? We don't need to do that. It's not about me.
Okay, continue. Yes.
But the way that they did it was smart. Like I said, it wasn't integral to the story, but it helped you understand what he was going through versus turning on a web series and then they introduce you to two characters and then they fucking and you sitting there like, okay, is there a reason that we're seeing this sex scene, or did you just want to do a sex scene? You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, next question. What artist would you like to have a Vegas residency that you could attend?
That doesn't already have one. I'm probably going to say J-Lo. I feel like J-Lo. She did have one already?
I think so.
Oh, because that's who I was going to say. It's hard because some people I want to say they're newer artists. And like Justin Timberlake said today online, he was just like, when you do Vegas residencies, that's just like you getting ready to retire in the music industry. I can kind of see that, but
I don't think it's necessarily that you are getting ready to retire, but you do have to have enough of a catalog.
Right. Yeah, you can't just get up there like, I love Tinashe, but she can't get up there and
I knew you were going to say her.
She can't give me no kind. Like I felt like if I was gonna say J-Lo, I would say Tinashe can open up for her. Like she's very talented, and I don't think she gets the credit that she's due. I think Mary J. Blige would do good.
Oh, that's
the white people love her.
That's a good choice.
They love her. I don't love her train wreck of a voice, but she don't on our show. I shade Mary J. Blige all the time because her voice is not that great, but she has good songs. She has soul, and you can feel her when she's singing these songs.
Yeah, she has a hell of a catalog.
Right, and a catalog. Mary been out since what, 92? 90?
At least. I think 90.
Right, so it's 2018. So she definitely she's the queen of comeback. Every time Mary J. Blige come back, they playing her song on the radio. Between her and Mariah, they are the comeback queens. But I think Mary would do good since J-Lo was already taken.
Yeah. I agree with the newer artist thing because my first choice is going to be Beyonce, but Beyonce need about another 10 to 15, maybe 20 years. I don't know
if she stooped that low.
I don't think it's low though. I think it's a steady check and it's a steady stage to perform on. I don't think it's low at all because a lot of the greats have done it. You know what I mean? It's not like you performing in front of Coles or something.
I guess because she already did a Vegas show, it wasn't a residency, but she did one. So I just felt like it would have went backwards for her.
Well, but again, this is 20 years from now, 15 years from now.
When she's done with her prime and she's, Diana Ross age.
Right, like when she pushing 50 or 45 or 50, and she's in a different place in her career. So right, Mary. I don't know if Janet has ever had one, but I would go to a Janet one.
That would be good for her.
Mm-hmm. especially coming off of that tour. Like I could see Janet maybe like
Right.
take a year off, raise her baby, do what she do, and then be like, okay, y'all, I'm gonna be in Vegas for like 2 years. Come see me or not, whatever you
Vegas,
want
we
to
want
do.
our check.
Right. On our check.
We said it here first. We definitely want the check.
On our check. Okay, last question. What books are on your 2018 reading list?
Right now, that I actually started in 2018. I'm reading a book by it's an audio book. It's by T.D. Jakes and it's called Soar. So it's captivating your mind and changing your thought process on like entrepreneurships and businesses and not being subjected to credit and financing and things like that, because I'm all big on finances and stuff. So, and especially with me being a small business owner at the moment, it really, because I was about to quit that shit this year. I mean, especially with hurricanes and people not supporting you and things like that. But so my mom actually gave it to me for Christmas, and she was like, I think you'll definitely benefit from this. So that's one, which is an audiobook. And then Carl Weber, which is one of my favorite black artists, one of my favorite black writers. He has a new book called Ladies Night. And if anybody is familiar with Carl Weber, he wrote Married Men, Not Friends and Lovers, The First Lady, where the pastor was sleeping with the secretary, and the organ player was really a man, and it was, all that. But yes, Carl Weber and T.D. Jakes are on my 2018 list.
Okay. For me, it is honestly starting with books that I was supposed to read in 2017. I figured I should probably read a couple of those before I start adding to the list. So I want to read The Mother of Black Hollywood by Jennifer Lewis.
Oh,
But
I heard it's good.
I think I'm going to get the audiobook because she actually narrates it herself.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's probably funny.
right. So I'm let me rephrase. I'm definitely going to get the audiobook and I'll listen to that. And then I'm going to read I'm Judging You by Lovey. I bought the book last year, and I want to say I picked it up one day, and as soon as I cracked it open, something happened, and I never got back to it. So I want to finally read through that, and then start finding some other books to read throughout the year. I really just need to up my reading game
Trust me, I know.
because important. And because, I said I was going to start trying to pick up whatever I'm going to do with writing again. And it's just one of those things I feel like you have to read. And I think people say this all the time. You have to read a lot in order to be a good writer. Just like I see people, or maybe not people, but I know definitely Barry from Pods and Color says this all the time. Like, you really have to listen to podcasts in order to be a good podcaster. I feel like you have to immerse yourself in whatever it is that you're trying to do to be good at it. So those two.
That's definitely the case. Like I said, I'm a ghetto chef, so I just like to cook. I've never gone to school for it. So, once I started my business, I started like looking at cooking videos, hanging out with caterers, hanging out with people who went to culinary school, and then like you just said with podcasting, I had 27 weeks ago, I had no idea what a podcast was. It was presented. I had a thought. I heard of it, but I didn't know what it really was. I had a thought. I asked my friends and said, let's do it. And like, ever since then, my friend was like, oh, I listen to The Read. I listen to The Friend Zone. I listen to, Angela Yee and DJ Envy. And so then after that, then I started listening to all these other people. And I was like, I didn't even know this world existed. But it did help shape and mold me as a podcaster and my show, because it's like, okay, I just listen to all these different varieties of shows. It definitely helps. You got to do stuff like that.
Exactly. And for me, I would say, because I listen to the bigger pod, The Read and The Friend, I've listened to those pretty much close from their inception, just because they're friends with my friends. So I knew about those early on. What I didn't know about were the smaller I didn't know about the small podcast community.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until I started my podcast and somehow, some way, people in the community they blew over, started listening to my show, and then I started listening to theirs, one person or two that I always highlight. I talk about them on the show all the time. John from the John Effect, because he was one of the first people that popped up out of nowhere supporting the show. And I was like, who is this nigga? Like, what is going on? What's happening? And I was like, oh, he does a podcast. Oh, okay. I was like, oh, it's a whole community of smaller podcasts. You know, everybody's not getting tens of thousands of listens on SoundCloud. Some of us are only getting a couple hundred if we're lucky. But that doesn't make, small podcasts matter. Just like they say small YouTube channels matter, small podcasts matter too. A lot of dope content is talented people having great conversations. So I listen to a shitload of podcasts. Well, to the best of my ability. To the best of my ability.
Exactly. Because there are weeks that I go back and like, okay, let me listen to 2 of the episodes because I done missed like 4 of them. No,
it's some weeks where I'm like, I'm not listening. I've had enough. I'm gonna listen to some music this week.
Yes.
Because I usually listen at work, but it feels like I listen to so many. I start coming home, and instead of having music on while I'm cleaning, I have a podcast going. So now I've gotten to the point where it's like, okay, I need to balance. I support as many podcasts as I can, but maybe I can't listen every week. But back to the original point is, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I think it does help me and influence me as a podcaster. You know. Shout out to John. Okay, so that is going to wrap up this episode of Gayside Stories, you guys. Please remind the people where they can find you and your show.
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and SoundCloud. We are SHHH Sherlock Podcast, and we are on all the platforms. And then you can find me at Alowishus, ALOWISHUS 0207 on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and then I'm Dennis Alowishus on Facebook. And my Tumblr is clean.
Come on,
the
Tumblr.
content I follow is not.
Oh. Yes, indeed. You guys, go to GaysideStories.com. That is the hub for information about this show. Email me at GaysideStories@gmail.com. Follow and interact on social media. Like the Facebook page. It's at Gayside Stories on all 3. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts if you have not already. Guys, next week is the 1-year anniversary of this show. If you don't do anything else, if you want to do something for me for the celebration, go over to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star rating. And if you really fuck with me, go ahead and type out a little review. Keep your 1-star woes. I'm just saying. Make sure that you're sharing the show with other people. It is a small podcast, but hey, the more ears that we can reach, you never know what might happen. I mean, people blow up all the time. Thank you all so much for listening. And one more thing, if you guys, again, if you want to call in and leave a message for the 1-year anniversary of the show, the number is 832-821-8279. All of that, of course, will be in the show notes. We're going to wrap this thing on up and get on out of here. So remember the lost commandment, and that is, thou shalt protect thy walls, or they will crumble. They will crumble. And if you didn't tell your friends about your questionable walls, now they done crumbled and you ain't got nobody to help you put Humpty Dumpty together again. I'm just saying. We are out of here. Bye, guys.
Bye.